excuse me? Baby mother? Wait, for 9 years you couldn't tell me you have a son. Like, this son was 10 years younger than me.
She knew about me. So it wasn't a situation where he was just dating someone and then he was dating me. I'm going to do whatever I can to split them up. I want to ruin what they ruined for me. I'm only going to get back together with him to break her heart.
And did you?
Yeah.
How could you do this? People be like, that's not you.
Do you want closure?
I watched the video numerous amount of times to just make sure that it was him, and I found out that he got married. There are people that will encourage you to bust his windows at his car. I wanted to put everything on Instagram, like all our pictures, screenshots, conversations, and then put the video I saw at the end.
So was he two-timing? Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Celia Lee Show, the podcast that's all about helping you become the best version of yourself and have a juicier life. Not only that, also we're here to elevate and educate and entertain. I'm your girl, your bestie, Celia Lee. So, as you know, Valentine's Day is coming up, and Valentine's Day, as you all know, is about celebrating love with your partner, or if you're not celebrating it, maybe you're with your partner watching Netflix or something at home, or maybe if you're single, you might be celebrating Valentine's Day, or maybe you're not even do that. Maybe because you might be even be triggered by this day because you're so heartbroken, because maybe you've just been going through heartbreak, a breakup, or maybe you've just been cheated on. Whatever it is, today's episode, I want to talk about how to heal heartbreak, how to get through heartbreak, and how to heal your heart. And to make it juicier, I've invited two guests, two beautiful ladies who will share their stories. One of them is my friend Martha, who's already been on. This time she won't be talking about content, she'll be talking about her previous love life. And another guest who is an author, she's going to be sharing her story, which I can't wait for you to hear her story, because it is, all I can say is just like, wow, it is mind-blowing. Anyway, without further ado, let's welcome these two beautiful ladies.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Thank you, girls. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. So, you know what? Introduce yourself. Do a quick intro. So, let's start with you, Jasneth.
All right, awesome. So my name is Jasneth Richards. I'm also known as the Infinite Woman. I am a mother of 5 and a grandmother. I know I don't look it. I look like 21, but but generally, yeah, I'm an author, teacher, and preacher. And I just love to share my testimony and my story because I feel like it really does help others. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
That's amazing. I don't know how to top that intro now.
Girl.
You guys have seen me here before. I'm Martha Lucia, founder of Woman Up and the Woman Up community, which is a place where personal growth meets sisterhood. And yeah, I haven't really spoken about like love life stuff in depth, so it's interesting to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I love it. I'm so excited to have both of you on here. So, Jasneth, actually, I don't think you actually remember me. So we actually met,
Right.
I think, briefly around 2018.
Okay.
At the time, we was at University of Metropolitan.
London Metropolitan.
Yeah. And I was actually working for this lady who was a pitch coach. Her name was Jennifer, and me and her and this other girl, we were like trainees, and we went to the uni to, I think you said you're a teacher, you came with your students there, and for some, I can't remember what it was, but we were there to do some sort of pitching training, pitch coaching, and she was on stage, she was talking, and then I remember you came up to her, and her name's Jenny, by the way, she's American, and then you came up to her, and I remember you saying that, yeah, you're a mother of 5, and then you said that you love what she does, and that's when I followed you. So I don't think you remember. Were you talking to Jenny though?
Okay, so I probably at that time was it students that were there?
Yeah.
So I was a student ambassador. So I was at London Metropolitan. But what we do at London Metropolitan is we have a lot of like young people come in, and then we will do like little workshops and things of that nature. So it was probably that, and that was the very start of my my oh my gosh, me hair stuttering, my degree. So it sounds about right. Yeah. Wow.
I've been
I was
following you.
here like, oh, I hope I didn't do anything bad.
No.
You know that one?
I was like, I wonder if she remembers me. But I don't thought now because you was talking to Jenny, you wasn't talking to me. I was
Yeah.
like standing next to her, sort of thing, listening to what you was telling her. But
Such a
yeah,
small world.
yeah.
Wow.
And then the only reason, like, because you know how Instagram works. If you don't interact with that person, Instagram then won't show you that person's
Those
content, right?
algorithms.
Yeah, and because one of my best friends, she bought your book, and she put on her
Wow.
Instagram, and I was like, I know that woman.
Oh,
So I went back onto
wow.
your page. I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen your stuff in such a long time. So that's I was like, yeah, oh no, she's got a book out, and then I saw your
Wow,
YouTube
yeah.
video. I was like, yeah. So talking about YouTube video, tell us basically. So the title of the YouTube video was again.
It was Broken and Betrayed 4-year courtship that ended in a secret marriage.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us like a summary of that story.
Oh girl. So this is still very early days. So please, my story is very different. I believe that it's supernatural. And I was in a courtship for 4 years. It ended in 2020. Well, when was it? 2023. So, yeah, 2023 July. And it was my birthday, and I just remember having this epiphany, and I was just like, I don't think this guy's gonna marry me. So we call it courting because in the Christian community, it's what you do. 4 years for me, child, that was a long time already. I always said that it would be 2 years, but a lot of stuff happened, health implications, financial stuff. I felt as though in that 4 year courtship, I was in like a 10-year marriage. There was just so much that had happened. And because, I'm in Christendom and I'm thinking to myself, things happen, just try and get on. But something happened on my birthday. I think sometimes we go through things where we're like, I'm getting older now, and you kind of just you're kind of looking back on your life and you're thinking, something's not right here. So I ended the courtship and I was just like, this is not going to work anymore. Anyway, lo and behold, he was in shock. Obviously, it's my birthday and so forth. It's not something that I want to do, but I just feel like something isn't right here. Something doesn't feel right. And for the next few months, he was still kind of pursuing the relationship and wanted to still make it work. And then, we were speaking, we were meeting here and there and so forth. So, I kind of knew that something was different this time. Sometimes you break up, you get back together or something, but um, the way he kept on pursuing the relationship, I was like, he really wants this to work, but there's no strategy behind it. What are you going to do differently to make this work? For me, it's not that I just want a ring, but we're in a 4-year courtship. We're endeavoring to do our best not to have sex before marriage. 4 years is a long, it's a long time, child. And
How do you do that?
she said, "How you do that? Only the Lord, only the Lord." It's my conviction, it's my belief. So it's something that I desire to do. I'm not saying that we haven't slipped up and things of that nature, but things happen. And yeah, I just felt like this wasn't happening. Anyway, lo and behold, in November, I messaged to just check and see how he was and just ask him how things were going and so forth. And then I've really felt led to write a letter to my husband. And I knew it wasn't him. As I was writing this letter and writing who I wanted to be to this man and who I wanted this man to be to me, I just knew it wasn't him. Anyway, lo and behold, long and short, to cut a long story short, because I'm quite mindful that I don't want to go too much into his stuff because it's his business as well as it is my story. And I never want to badmouth him and so forth, even though it was a wicked thing that he did. But yeah, I just remember going online at sometime in November. I can't remember the specific date. And it was actually one of my friends that was the actual photographer. She does photography for weddings. And I looked on her page and I was like, that's so and so. And she messaged me and she was like, what do you mean so and so? And she was like, oh, what a small world. She was like, wait, you're so and so. I said, yeah. She was like, oh my gosh. And this was him traditionally marrying some girl 3 months after we had broken up. And yeah, that was just it.
So wait, so was he two-timing?
We have no idea the full story, but he must have been because it doesn't make any sense.
When was
Somebody's not in November. So we
Last
broke
year.
up in July, yeah. Not so 2023.
2023? Okay.
2023 November. So just November gone would be a year. So it's been about a year and a couple of months
Are they
since.
still married?
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, apparently. So, yeah, I actually don't know. To be honest, I've had some interactions with him, but never really. And as I said, I don't want to really get into too much of the detail, but yeah, I found out that he got married and that yeah, his marriage is also legal. So for that to happen, that can't be in the 3 months. That had to have been planned before, but only God knows. So
What was your initial reaction when you found out?
I watched the video numerous amount of times to just make sure that it was him, and I was like, I know those glasses. I know that you know, if they had a spot on their forehead, you would know. You just know who you're with, and I was like, okay. And even in my mind, I was trying to justify it. I was like, well, he was telling me that his cousin was getting married, so I was like, but you look like the lead of this. This doesn't look like you're a part of a wedding. This looks like it's
He
yours.
was lying to you as well that this is...
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I have never really shared the full story, but if you knew about the full story, you'd cry for me because it was a lot of deceit. And there are still justifications of the deceit, but it is what it is. Like only broken people can really do something so disastrous, like that. But yeah, my initial thoughts were, wow, like I feel like it's so crazy to me, but if it was anything else, even if you had cheated, but to get married knowing that I broke up with you because we weren't getting married is very bizarre to me. It doesn't make no sense.
Did it make you feel any type of way about yourself?
Right, so that's a good question. Obviously I went through the 5 stages of grief. But I went through it very rapidly, very quickly. Like I mean like in a couple of months. Like I went through it all. So it felt very intense. But one thing I remember God saying to me was to be quiet. And that was the hardest thing of all, is to just say nothing. Like to him, and to be very selective who I speak to. Because there are people that will encourage you to bust his windows out his car. And, I mean, I'm from the ends. I used to be very ghetto before I gave my life to the Lord. And initial thoughts, you're running through your mind, like, how could you do this, that, and the other? But I think it was the silence that helped me to heal quicker.
Yeah.
Because I think if I went for him and after him in that way, and I think also sometimes that's what they want. They want you to call them, they want you to run them down. Like, it just, something was different this time. I was just like, yeah, this is not.
He's also Christian.
Yeah, apparently. I say apparently because, I mean, we're not all, in Christendom, we're all human. Things are going to happen. But things of that extent, it's like, who does that? Like, who does that? But people are people.
But
Do you get what I mean?
did you want closure?
That's a good question as well. No, because in my flesh, I probably would have wanted closure, but in the spirit, I was just like, this is closure. This is what he's done is closure. It is what it is. He's very, very clear on what the closure. There's no point me. What am I getting closure for? Do I want this person back? No, I believe very much in the covenant of marriage. And once you are in a marriage, my thing is, that's it. I'm not to the point where even when God told me to delete everything, like like we have receipts, like in my flesh, I wanted to put everything on Instagram, like all our pictures, screenshots, conversations, and then put the video I saw at the end, and then be like, people be like, "That's not you," and I'll be like, "You sure, Skippy? That ain't me." Do you get what I mean? But it was just a no. And when God told me to delete it, I was like, "Delete all the receipts." He was like, "Yes." And it was like, I have somebody else's now husband in my phone, whether I feel justified or not, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't know this person. Where did this person come from? But I have somebody's husband in my phone. And for me, I'm a very integral person. I don't play those games, and I don't want to be you know, just like that's somebody's husband now for me.
You know, so earlier I know how you said that you've been together for 4 years, and then when you broke up, because your intention was to get married, obviously, and then he went and married someone else after 3 months after breaking up. And although I had a similar situation, but it wasn't marriage or anything, but it was with children. So I was in a 9-year relationship, and he was, just to give you the context, he was 15 years older than me. So I was 22 when I met him, and he was 37. But anyway, so we've been together for 9 years. And obviously in those years, I would just say to him, because we've been together for so long, I was like, oh, I want kids, like that. And he kept saying, I'm not ready yet financially, it makes more money, I was like, okay, fine, okay, cool, all right, cool, whatever, right? Anyway, so after 9 years, I decided, you know what, other factors, because he no longer was putting effort in, I just grew out of love. We broke up, right? 10 months after breaking up, I get a message from someone, a DM, and this lady goes, hey, I hope you're good, sorry to disturb you, this is Dean's baby mother. Can you please tell him to reach out to me, this is urgent. And I was like, excuse me, baby mother? And I was like, so, because first of all, I never knew he had a son or any children, let's just put it this way, okay? So at first I thought it was a prank. I thought maybe he just out of spite, want to like do some sort of prank. But I thought, no, he wouldn't do something like that anyway. Why would he do such a thing, like just to reach out to me and say his baby mother, whatever. But anyway, so then I texted her, I was like, what are you talking about? I don't even know he's got a child, he's got a son. And then she was like, oh, sorry about that. Well, he has a son that's right here, and he needs him right now because something's happened and he urgently needs his dad. And I was like, but how do I know if you're telling me the truth?
And why would you contact me?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Just a quick one. I want to ask you a big favor. Can you please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so? Follow me on Spotify or whatever platform you're listening on, because it would help me grow my channel, help me reach more people. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much. All right, let's get back to the episode.
So anyway, she then sent me a picture to prove that this is his son. This son was 10 years younger than me. He's young. So at the time I was 31 and the son's 21. The picture of the son looks exactly like my ex. And I was just like, I was shocked. I did not know what to think at the time. I was just like, wait, for 9 years you couldn't tell me you have a son. Like.
And that probably wouldn't even have been an issue for you.
No, exactly. And I'm just like, why would you hide something like that to me? Like we wake up to like next to each other and blah blah thing like that, right? Anyway, so then obviously I got on the phone with this woman. I was like, she told me basically why she needs to contact me, because she doesn't have his number basically, and somehow some family member of his told her to reach out to me, so then I can put her through to her anyway. But I was like, yeah, I broke up with him anyway, blah blah. Anyway, so then I reached out to him. I said, what's this about? I need an explanation. And anyway, so he said to me that basically he knew about this son, but he used to see him when he was 10 years old, but he was like, he wasn't sure that was his. So he asked for a paternity test. The mother refused, so he stopped seeing the son. But the thing is, my thing is like, you could have at least mentioned I might have a son.
Sure.
Not even that, right? So anyway, so then I asked him, so how do you feel? He goes, oh, I felt relieved. He goes, he felt like a heavy weight was lifted off my chest and off my shoulder. And he goes that I'm actually quite happy because I've always wanted a son. Yeah, and I was like, all this time I've been saying that I want children with you, and now you're telling me that you want a son. I was just like, I wasn't angry, but it did make me feel some type of way, like, okay. I didn't know how to react to it, to be honest with you, but I just said to him, I was like, okay, well, I'm happy for you. And yeah.
Where do they get the time? I really want to know, where do you get the time to do all of this? Even with the person that I was with, it's shocking to me. But in some way, I'm not going to lie, I actually thought something was weird, because he started to be a bit more withdrawn. We weren't seeing each other as often and things of that nature. So sometimes we have the signs, but we're so in it.
Yeah, and you should make excuses for that person. Yeah. Martha, tell us you experienced that traumatic.
So I was just going to touch on what you were saying about the when you know something isn't right, because I had that feeling as well with an ex where for like 3 or 4 months I was like, something's not right, like I feel like he's not telling me something. Our like intimacy levels were low, and I was like, I feel like there's something there, but I don't know what. And then I started to tell myself maybe we've just like outgrown each other. We'd been together for like 5-6 years by that point. And so we had a conversation, and that conversation resulted in me saying, maybe we just need like a break. Like maybe we need to like spend some time apart, have a breather, have a think and whatever, and then come back to this and like see what happens. And then within a week he was with someone, and I was like, I thought that we were just like
On a break.
taking a break. And then I actually feel like when I was listening to your story and you were like you seem like you were really composed and you were really just like owning your pain in your corner. I did the opposite.
What did you do?
So I was just like really angry. I was just like, what is happening? Like, why are you in a relationship all of a sudden? Like, no one meets someone in a week. I started like stalking Facebook, stalking her Facebook. Like, I went into complete psycho mode, which is weird because that isn't who I am. I saw like some of her statuses where she was like using words like in love or like so in love with so and so, whatever. And I was just like, it's impossible for someone to say you're in love if you've only been seeing each other for a week. Like, I don't understand. And he was just adamant that like, you're the one who wanted a break. For all I know, like we were broken up. You know, basically like it's my fault.
That's
kind
the
of
same
thing.
with me.
Because like I pushed him away almost.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but and then I started to like replay things and think that I was going mad because I was like, I didn't say any of these things. Like I didn't say I wanted to break up. Like for me, we were just taking a breather. We're trying to work through things. Anyway, I don't want to get into like the psychoness of my behavior, but I found out that like he'd been seeing her like whilst we were together, at least like 4 months. So then I was like, that feeling that I had was my intuition saying something's happening that I just didn't know at that time.
See, our women's intuition are strong, you know. We always know
we
something.
know.
Yeah.
And also, if he's not getting any, like, what's he doing? Like, what's he doing about that? Because I remember thinking to myself, oh, I feel like he's like physically, he's like distancing himself from me. And I was like, I'm going to see, like, if I don't initiate anything, if he is intimate with me. And he wasn't for like 3 months. So I was like, why would someone who claims to be in love or like in a passionate relationship, why would he not be intimate with me? And that was also like a sign for me where I was like, I don't understand. Like there must be something, like maybe he's going through something, like maybe I can help him, but he's not telling me, like all these things. But I just think he was obviously getting it somewhere else. But
how did you deal with the anger then? Did you ever want revenge?
I just felt like I really didn't handle the situation accordingly. So what ended up happening was I just became so angry at them being together. And I also then like found messages where she knew about me. So it wasn't a situation where he was just dating someone and then he was dating me. She knew that he
The
was
side chick.
Yeah. But she had it in her head that he was unhappy in our relationship and he just wanted out. So she was kind of waiting for her moment almost. So I felt so angry with both of them in that moment because I was like, who is this person that just wanted us to break up so that she could like take that relationship from me? And I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to split them up. So I was like, my main aim is I want to split them up. Like, I don't care how I do it. I want to ruin what they ruined for me. And that is like, I'm actually like really embarrassed to even say that out loud because you know me, like I'm not like a vengeful person. And that was just a phase in my life where I saw a side to myself that I was like, never again let anyone like put you in a position like that.
Can you talk about a little bit what you tried to do?
So I basically was like, I said to him, look, I'm heartbroken, da da da. Like, is this really what you want? Like, do you really want to be with this person? And he was like, well, I don't think, I think he just needed someone to like, to, you know, when like men break up, they rebound, right? I think he just needed that there, because I was like, okay, so what if me and you got back together? And he was like, well, I would end this with her. So I was like, maybe we should just get back together then. So I was like, I'm only going to get back together with him to break her heart, because I just want to do that. It wasn't like, it was like a really spiteful position that I was in, but I was like, if she thinks she can do this to me, then I'm just going to do it back to her.
And did you?
Yeah. But then what ended up happening ended up backfiring on me, because what happened is we then did get back together. That got broken off. And then I got stuck in this relationship because I was like, maybe we can work through this. Maybe like, I started to like justify the fact that he was cheating. I started to justify like other things, and then ended up like back in that relationship for another like year and a half, 2 years before we actually then broke up, where I was like, I got back into this relationship for like the complete wrong reason. And I should have just done what you did, which was like go in your corner.
But can I just say, honestly, I've been where you've been.
Really?
In previous heartbreaks.
Okay.
But I think the difference was this time is where I was in my walk. And I was just doing the work beforehand. So I'm not going to say I was perfect in a relationship, but there was something about this that just shifted the trajectory of who I was. And I was like, I know about it's better to be better than bitter.
Yeah.
And things like that. And I was just like, I'm going to give him this satisfaction of feeling as though you've done this thing. But in actuality, the silence enables them to actually deal with their own thought processes and the things that they've done. And for me, it was about the fact that, imagine you're doing this podcast and there are things on the line. I've got a purpose, I've got children, and then you're going to tarnish my name. What are they going to remember? Me busting the windows out his car? Or are they going to think, oh, no, but he did do that to her? They always remember the last thing that somebody did. They don't ever think why. So why would I give him that satisfaction? Let everybody know what you done and let them know that I stayed silent and I continue doing what I need to do.
Not giving them any, basically can't chat shit about you, basically.
No, they can't say nothing. Absolutely
Yeah.
nothing.
It's true.
So it's where I was in my journey, but trust me, I get it. And don't think that I didn't fight those urges to just want to do whatever. Like, who's this person? Where did they come from? Like, but sometimes you have to leave people because sometimes people think they've won a prize. And in actuality, they don't even know what they've gotten themselves into. So sometimes just leave
you
them
have to just
to it.
leave people to it. Yeah.
How did you deal with your anger? Because you must have, because you know the 5 stages of grief,
Of course.
the anger stage. How did you deal with it?
Accountability.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have 3 amazing women that I speak to and we pray together every day. And when I wanted to just go down to his house, because he lives quite near me,
Oh, okay.
and I just call them and I'll be like, I actually really want to just smash something right now, or I really want to call this person and let them know how much they've like hurt me or so forth. So I think it's just remembering that you can use your friends to be that thing that you want this person to be, and they can just talk me out of it and calm me down and things of that nature. I think accountability is so important, and people that you can be raw and real with, like, you know, like how, like I'll call them in my stage where I was in my courtship and be like, I feel really horny today and I just don't want to, you know, do you get what I mean? You have to have people that you can just be accountable to and that are not going to judge you and that are going to give you wise advice and are going to hear where you're coming from and things of that nature. So definitely accountability.
And I think also about what you said earlier as well, you said be selective who you speak to. As much as you sometimes, some of us, we have like a group of friends that are really good friends with us, but I think there are certain people that like you said, that won't judge you. So there's still some friends who will somewhat judge you, not judge you, but like have the opinion. But you gotta be selective. Who they are are their opinion valid, basically?
I also think, like, are they going to fuel you? Because like you said, if you wanted to, like, I don't know, whatever, to his car, are they going to be like, yeah, come on, like they're going to be the ones going with you, or are they
Absolutely.
going to be the ones to like talk you
I,
down?
in that beginning stage when it happened, I had to put my phone on D&D because there were people that were like, just give me his number. I just want to talk to him. I'm like, no. They're like, no, I promise you, I just want to talk. I'm like, I know you and I know you're not going to talk. Yeah. So just leave it. It as well. God's got it. Like, that's it. And
Yeah.
my favorite scripture is vengeance is mine, says the Lord. Sometimes we don't have to do the venging.
Yeah.
God's going to do it for you.
Yeah,
Whether you
yeah.
want to call it karma, you reap what you sow, whatever it is, you cannot do something to somebody and not expect things to happen to you. Even for myself. If I'm going to sow negativity, that's what I'm going to get back. If I'm going to sow positivity, that's what I'm going to get back. So,
Yeah.
just smile and wave.
I do think that's like really good advice though in terms of accountability, because I didn't have that, and I was like, I felt so ashamed that he had done that that I didn't want to tell anyone, because I almost felt like it was my fault, like I didn't provide for him enough in the relationship and that's why he cheated or whatever. And so I felt embarrassed to like tell people that. And I think that's one of my problems, is that when I'm in a relationship and I'm unhappy, I don't tell people. I just like hold it in and I try and deal with it on my own. And from this occasion, like dealt with it in the completely wrong way.
I think same with me. Like sometimes I hold it in because in my mind thinking, oh, I don't want to bother them with my stories again. They must be tired of me now, or they probably think I'm saying the same thing again over and over again. It's like, and I end up just holding it in as well. But thank goodness I had this one best friend. She's a therapist as well, so it helps.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So I was able to then, whenever I want to, just send a voice note, things like that. So yeah.
And I feel like the enemy likes to keep us silent. So if I don't say, imagine we weren't having this conversation, we would all be stuck and isolated in this shame and this condemnation, thinking, oh, like that's embarrassing, this, that, and the other. And then when you start talking, you're like, me too, me too, me too. And there's almost like this instant healing and weight off your shoulder. Obviously be mindful who you talk to. But I think I'm very humble, open and transparent. And I will share my misfortunes because I think it helps people.
Same, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I want to ask you, like we said, stay silent. What does that look like? As in, you don't talk to, as in you didn't talk to him at all? Not even one text?
I have not contacted him at all.
That was after you found out about the wedding?
Not at all.
Okay.
Till this day.
He knows that you know, though?
Yeah. I've spoken to the individual, but not on my accord. So, but I have not contacted them because I have nothing. You have a wife now. I have nothing to say to you. There's no way I'm going to speak to a married man. No way. That's my thing. But silence looks like, as I said, just making sure that you choose the right people. For me, I believe God told me to be silent when it comes to him. Just say nothing. And also, it was November, it was February when I kind of shared what had happened. And even in that, God was like to me, do not go into details. But I just want people to know the steps that I told you to take that enabled your healing to be expedited. And silence was just one of them. I feel like just being very mindful who you speak to and just be careful of the words that come out of your mouth and the vows that you make. Because before I'm like, I'm never going to let this person, but I believe in love. I still believe in love. Like, this person is not putting me off of love. I believe that whatever God says that he has for me, it's going to come. It just wasn't in the form of him. But also just being sure that, I just don't make vows. So I try very much to be careful what vows I make with my mouth when it comes to love. Because, you can say things that you don't even realise have entangled you in future relationships to come. So, yeah.
How would you say your experience has changed your life?
Oh my God, mine is like reflection. Because, like I said, I saw a side of me that I didn't like, and I've never been that person again. So, but also, like, if I could be a detective, I think I'd be really good at it.
Me too.
I think
love
us
me a
women
bit
are very good,
sci-fi.
actually. We're FBI's, yeah.
Yeah, but I just think I've seen a side to myself that I don't ever want to be again. And so that encourages like work, like you said, work that you need to do on yourself. What does it look like when things go wrong, like as part of a relationship, and how are you going to handle that, etc., etc. So I think reflection is like the biggest part of it.
You know what? I would actually say the same. I think self-reflection. I think a lot of people don't reflect. They're always looking at what this person did, much rather than what you did.
Yeah.
And not even that what you did, but what did this show me about me?
Yeah.
That's part of healing. That's how you heal as well.
Exactly. So definitely self-reflection. And that's why I wrote my book, because it wasn't a gossip column. It was actually, these are the things that I've discovered in a relationship, and mainly about me. And yeah, just love is a beautiful place, but it can be very hard.
Yeah.
And there are definitely things that I would change in the future days to come. So I'm thankful for my ex, because he definitely prepared me for the next. So.
Same. Like, I'm thankful for every single ex, even though they all, did what they did, some of them. But although most of them I walked away because I found the strength to walk away. But about, you said, for example, you said stay silent, how to deal with the anger, accountability. So a year ago, I was going through a heartbreak. I went through the anger stage, but I was mindful of it, as in, like, I was aware. I was like, okay, Celia, don't get angry now, because you did do this, though. You created a space for him to act like this, da 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 da. So I was like, so don't get angry. Okay, cool. So I calmed myself down. But it got to a point I felt like there's a bit of toxic positivity, like over accountable, like trying to say, oh yeah, but Celia, don't be angry because you did do this, da 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 da. So in the end, I was just holding that rage because I never really let go. So for me, what helped is eventually, like, I feel like I do need to let go of that rage, but just in a non-violent way. But I don't think I should have been over accountable with myself, but also acknowledge that he did do something bad to me, that he did hurt me. And because before, when I was over accountable, it was just so hard to get over it. But when I finally acknowledged and actually let myself be angry, I actually felt so much better.
I think it's that silver lining. It's like, yeah, he did this, but I'm not going to too focus on that. It's like not making that the focus, but definitely they're wrong. Even Stevie Wonder could see that they're wrong. They were wrong. Do you get what I mean? So they were wrong, but what can I do differently this time? And how can I, make better? So it's just that silver lining, I think.
I also think, like, where are you directing that anger? Because, like, last year as well, I had a moment where I just felt really, like, angry and frustrated. But all I did is I just screamed in my car. Like, I just sat in my car and I was like the inside, like, something was there. It was stuck. And I just screamed. And then I just carried on.
I tell you how I let my rage. I don't know if you saw my story at that time, but anyway, don't judge me, Jess.
I'm not going to judge you.
But basically, that night I went out for dinner with my friend, and I had dinner and I went back to hers, and then we thought, let's continue our conversation. So I had a whole bottle of Prosecco to myself, and she had red wine, right?
Wow.
I had a whole bottle of Prosecco, and I drove home after that, yeah. But I wasn't like drunk, but don't get me wrong, I was a little bit tipsy. But anyway, so on my way home now, because I've been feeling a bit tipsy, I was imagining he was in front of me. Like, I was imagining, like, all the stuff that I would say to him to cuss him out, da da da. I literally would just, as I'm driving, I'm like cussing him out, da 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 da. The next morning, instead of feeling groggy, like after you drank like a bit of alcohol, the next morning you do feel a bit sluggish, whatever. I was so high. My friend was like, this is giving ganja vibes right now. But I was like so high, like so energetic. I went to the gym next morning. I didn't feel groggy, nothing. I was just so happy. Like, it's almost like I felt like a brand new me or something like that. It was just different. And I felt like that was me releasing my rage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you, instead of texting him, you still let it out. So I think that's perfectly fine. Like you're releasing it in some way, but you're not directing it at a specific person.
Although there have been times I was so tempted to text him, like,
Yeah.
I'm sure we all were. Sometimes I put it in my notes and then I just send it to my friend, and then my friend reads it, and it just feels like you've just sent something. And my friend's like, okay. And it's gone. Sometimes it's the action of just,
I feel like that's like a good idea for like an app.
Oh, yeah.
Where like you can
no
fake
copyright.
text. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket.
Exactly.
I love that. That's a very good one. Yeah. We got it recorded, so next time we reference going back when you make it into a million, we're like, just go back.
To her. It came here first.
I'll not ask this question. So how did you find strength? So actually, Jasneth, I asked you this. How did you find the strength to walk away when you realised that the relationship wasn't progressing to what you want? Because it's easier said than done. Like, what your friends could be like, oh, you deserve better, just leave the relationship. But when we're in it, it's hard. Especially, you've been 4 years. I'm sure like you're deeply in love with this man.
Yeah, how did I get the strength? I think it was the realization that it's not about what I want, but it's about the fact that for me, this 4-year relationship is not pleasing to God. It's not edifying. It's not fruitful. It's not. So what is it that I'm hanging on to? And it's like, it's just habitual now. Like you can see the efforts are fading away. There's not really anything. And I think it was like weighing up the pros and cons. And it was like, sometimes you have to realize, are you idolizing something that is never going to be? And realizing that maybe marriage is an idol and it's not supposed to be with this person. So looking at it from that standpoint and just, again, like reflecting on self. But before that moment, there were many moments. So, but that just ended up being the moment. But there were many moments. I had breaks and things like that. But I knew, probably after like the second year, I was like, there's something we're not gonna thing. But as you know, you love somebody, you're used to them, it's habit, and so forth. But is it really worth the drama? And no, so. Yeah, it was weighing up the pros and cons, I think.
What about you, Martha, for this one?
I think I'm not the one to ask this question. Because I really struggle to break up with people. And I know that in every single one of my relationships, I have held on for much longer because I was like, oh, but maybe this, but maybe that. Like, I think I'm always the one to like give people the benefit of the doubt and justify certain actions and behaviors. So, but I've always known as well that that relationship wasn't right for me. Like deep down, I've always known, but I'm just like, oh, but what if I'm wrong? Or what if this, what if that? And I just think your intuition.
This time around, as in, I'm talking about, how did you find the strength? What was that point?
I think, like you said, like you just reach a point. For me, I just reached a point where I was just like, this really isn't working. And we both knew it wasn't working, to be honest with you. And so it just took like us just having a conversation. And actually, my most recent breakup is probably the healthiest one I've had in the sense that there's no like bad blood. Like both of us know that we've made mistakes throughout the relationship. Both of us know like where we stand. And in some ways it kind of made like the grieving process a bit harder because it was almost like that's like my best friend. Yeah, like that's like my best friend. It's not just, we've split up and someone cheated or whatever. But it was just a point where both of us were like, this isn't working, is it? What can we do? Like, we love each other. I want the best for you, but at some point we're gonna have to like call it a day.
I think that's harder.
It has been like really hard, yeah.
Because how I say you drag it on. Same with me. Like my 9-year relationship should have ended probably like on the 4th year, but I just dragged it on because I'm that kind of mentality. Like we can make it work. We've been through so much. We just need to you know, maybe find that spark again or whatever, things like that. And I don't want to give my body to anyone else. I just want to be with you, blah, blah, blah. But then it got to a point where I'm not happy. I'm not getting, my needs weren't met. And I think that after leaving that relationship is when I started my self-love journey, as I always talk to people about. It's the self-love journey.
The thing is, I've also had moments in relationships where I've like prayed for them to do something wrong, because
I'd rather than be the bad person. So yeah, me too.
I don't want to be the one to say, look, this isn't working, is it? Like, whatever, like, let's just break up. Because then I feel like people will judge me. Whereas if he cheats, I can be like, oh, he cheated. And then like, I'll get a round of applause because it's like, oh yeah, well, he's this, that, and the other. So I've had moments where I'm like, oh my God, like, please, I just want him to cheat or like do something that's like worthy of me breaking up with them, which is like so weird to even say out loud. But I've recently had conversations with like other women who are in relationships and they're having like the same thoughts. So I'm like, oh wow, like it wasn't just me.
No, I'm like that too. Sometimes I'm like, when are they going to say it? Because I don't want to do the one we don't want to say. So I want to talk about something that, what do you think people don't talk about during the healing stage? Like, for example, me, I'll give an example, is like my nervous system. You always hear people, oh yeah, you break up, and then you check on people, but oh, how are you doing? You think people are just sad, but there's more to it. For example, most recently, when I saw my ex in the gym, for example, I'll get anxiety attack. Like literally, my whole body starts shaking. Well, he didn't do anything bad to me because we broke up on like good terms, things like that. But it was like I'll start breathing heavy, I'll get lightheaded and all of that, and I was just like, I never knew it was going to happen. Like, you're nervous. People don't talk about this. I think it's one of the things that people don't talk about.
I agree with you. That's happened to me before as well. Like when I found out that he was in a relationship, like the next week, I started to like have panic attacks. I'd have like really heavy anxiety, like constant for like weeks, where I felt like really sick. And I feel like sometimes when you go through a breakup, it's not just emotional, like that shows up physically in so many ways. And I do think that sometimes with breakups, we don't give it the time or like the energy that it deserves, because a lot of the time it's like, oh, come on, like get over it now. Like it's just a breakup. It's not like anything serious, but actually it is a grieving process.
And also I think some of us think, it's been 6 months now, come on, get over it now. But sometimes it takes longer. Like it's taken me a whole year. I wouldn't say I'm still 100%, but yeah, it's taken me a long time. But you, oh my God, how long are you 100%?
I think we need to be easy with ourselves. I would say yes, because I'm justified in the fact that he's married now, he's with somewhere else. There's nothing else that can happen, and I'm moving on. But I'm very well aware that not everybody goes through it very quickly, and it's like you're expecting to get over 4 years in 4 months. It's like it's impossible. I think the thing that people don't really speak about is the memories. I think those trigger you a lot, like, or you might hear a song or you might do whatever. So I have to be very conscientious about myself, and that's why it's good to reflect and know yourself. So I'll be like, yeah, I can't listen to that song again or what have you. So just being mindful. But yeah, it's not easy, but for me with God it's possible, so I'm very grateful.
So let's do some Q&A. What advice would you give people who are struggling with revenge?
Everyone looks at me.
This is too deep. Like, you're leaving it in God's hand. But what if they're not that religious?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you need to give like my younger self some advice.
I just think it's just not worth it. What's it gonna do?
Yeah,
like you're gonna feel okay temporarily. It's a temporary thing. It's not gonna give you permanent joy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think just, find a way to release that rage. I heard about this place.
Yeah, that you can
that you can break
smash
stuff.
TVs and stuff.
There's a place where we can smash plates, and release that rage. Yeah, so that could be one of them. Yeah, screaming car. Yeah.
There you go.
But just don't do nothing violent. Basically, because like you say, you backfire. You'll regret it, because even if you do that person, you're not going to get that person back anyway. So.
And do you want them back? Come on now,
exactly.
be realistic.
Yeah.
someone who is stuck in a relationship that is not progressing, like what advice would you give that person? How can they, because obviously I know it's like we said, we find the strength, but it's easier said than done. In the moment when we know it's not working, but we're stuck in it, like, what kind of advice would you give them?
I mean, I think communication, like at some point you're going to have to sit down and have a conversation and say, is this moving forward? If not, XYZ. If yes, how are we moving forward? Not just, okay, yeah, let's stay together. No, what are we working on? What are the steps forward? What are our goals in this relationship, etc., etc., rather than just like winging it and just like, see what happens and then move forward. But I think communication is like the main thing.
I'd say time is greater than money, and time you can't get back. So the more you're there, is the longer you're wasting time, and the more you're there is the longer you're removing. Like, it's like me holding somebody else's partner hostage. I know that it ain't working for us, and somebody else is out there waiting for their partner,
husband,
and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm just holding it there because of what? Just do your best to let it go. I know it's not going to be easy, but the more you're there, the longer it's going to take.
Yeah.
And also is, don't settle for good enough. Don't settle for less. Because this is about your self-worth. And if you're not happy, but you feel like, oh, you should be because you've been together for so long, then you're disrespecting yourself. You're not loving yourself enough. Like, love yourself enough to give the love that you desire. And your partner should be someone that would, although obviously you should already have your relationship with yourself, but that person will enhance that love you have for yourself. Yeah. And so, yeah, if you're not feeling, you're not getting that, then yeah, the strength will come eventually. What's the first thing someone should do when they go through a breakup? For me, journaling. I always journal. That's the first thing that I did.
Well, I had started doing that because you recommended it to me as well. Yeah. Where I'm just like, sometimes I don't feel like writing anything. And I will literally write, I don't feel like writing anything today. Just because like the act of doing it every single day. And I've like given myself the 90 days to just like, and then other days I'm like pages and pages. So yeah.
I love me a journal too, but I would say to take time out.
Yeah.
Just give yourself a minute to breathe without anybody's opinions, without any words. Like, I went to a hotel for like 3 days and I sat in the hotel and cried for like 3 days. And yeah, just had time with self because it's important.
Yeah, definitely cry. Because some people be like, the ego be like, I'm not going to shed a tear for that guy. They're like, no, you got to release the emotions. You got to cry. Do cry. And also, don't try and suppress the emotions.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But anyway, I think let's wrap it up. I'm going to come in again. Thank you so much for coming on, ladies.
Thanks for having us. It was amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I enjoyed this. How can people find you?
Okay, so I'm on social media at She Is Jasneth. I'm sure you might have it somewhere in the description because it's hard to say my name. But yeah, I'm everywhere at She Is Jasneth, so you can find me there.
And how can people find you?
I am Martha Lucia on Instagram and womanup.ig for the Woman Up community.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. And if you're listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, please make sure you give me a 5-star rating, leave me a nice comment, show me some love. If it's on YouTube, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, because it will help me grow my channel and also spread my message to and reach out to more people. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and love you all. And I'll see you in the next episode. Mwah.
Bye.
Guys.